Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to do the dungeon floor in the Mario bookshelf. The very first step in this process is to go ahead and sand down your walls and the floor to remove that laminate coating. And this will actually give you something to have your floor stick to. Without doing this step here, you run the risk of not being able to get the glue to adhere to it. So go ahead and sand the entire thing down, and then after you're completed with that step, then you want to go ahead and wipe it down with a damp rag to get any residual dust off. I suggest wearing a mask when you're doing this, and just go ahead and make sure you get it nice and cleared off with that rag. Then the next step after this, you are going to either use the laser file stones that's included in the file, which you can get on my Etsy shop, or you are going to tear up paper bags. Either way works. This works for any cobblestone floor. There are also some other tutorials on my YouTube channel that show you how to do stone floor. Now I'm just taking some Modpodge mat and I'm spreading it all around on the bottom of this flooring. Alright, now I'm taking up a bunch of torn paper bags. Not one is going to be exactly like the other because these were hand torn, not computer cut or laser cut, and I'm just matting them down with the brush into the glue that I've already laid. I suggest you do this in smaller sections, that way your glue doesn't dry out on you. You can layer them if you like and you want to make it thicker, that's fine. You can even add sand or glitter to it to give it a little bit of a texture, and then paint it. Now sand, I would use the aquarium sand that is meant for saltwater tanks because it's super fine, or craft sand, the really fine stuff. The thicker coarse sand that you would get at like Home Depot or Lowe's for your play sand or for something that you're using outside, that's a little bit too thick for this. So you need something very fine if you want texture. The other option is you can do the toilet paper texture over top of it that I did in the water world and for the lava. It's up to you if that's something you want to do. Right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and proceed by continuing to lay these down, and I'm just staggering them accordingly like a puzzle, leaving a small space in between each one of them. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead over it with my Black Bear paint and primer all in one. I'm doing this while the glue is still wet because I want the glue and the paint to adhere to each other. You can wait for the process of it drying and doing it in between and layering it that way as well, but I did it this way. It just kind of helps to give that extra durability of that paint and glue combination. So it's kind of like you're adding the Mod Podge to your paint, but only you're not. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and paint this entire thing black, and then we'll go over it with some shading. Alright, once you get your floor completely covered, you want to go ahead and paint the walls black as well. This is going to allow you to have a background that's super dark when you apply the wall stone. So for this process, I'm going to go ahead and start painting the back. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that you get it where it's going to show through black when you have your stone attached to this. Okay, so continue to paint this. Get in all the corners and get as much as you can. And then what you're going to do after this is you're going to go ahead and look over your floor to make sure there's no spots that you missed. And when you see those spots, then you can paint over top of them. So as you can see, you'll see some brown here. That's where the paint didn't adhere and the glue didn't adhere because we didn't get enough on there. So you can give it another layer at this point of the black paint, or you can just keep it there and have it as textured where it looks like it's a different color. That's up to you. Now, I went ahead and I used some Bear paint and I started dry brushing this. I went over it several colors, several times. You just want to make sure that you're getting each stone and giving it a little bit of coloring, because if you have it all black, then obviously it's going to be too dark. So I'm using a sponge brush. You can use any kind of brush for this, really. This is just something I'm going to throw away. I do a lot of that when I'm painting because I hate cleaning brushes. So add more, and then you can reduce it later when you're adding color on top. I also blended my colors while the paint was still wet. So I took another brush and I added some color to that, and then I went into that and I just started tapping it in various locations just to kind of blend it out and to mix it in a little bit on the individual stones. And then you just do this process throughout the entire thing. If you go back to my 50s diner, you can see how I did that stone with a little bit more light, and it's basically the same concept of painting, only I did those stones a totally different way. Since then, I've decided to go ahead and do like a recycling area to where it's kind of a little bit more eco-friendly. So now I'm just realizing I don't feel like doing all that painting because I'm running out of time, and I decided to do this, and literally Christmas is like 2 days away. So I've got to get this done. And at this point, I'm just going over it, and I'm going in bulk, which I find out that by doing it this way, I covered more area, but I had to go back and fine tune and tweak it a little bit more than I would have if I had taken my time. So it's best to take your time with this process and don't cover the entire area like I did. However, it does work. It just takes more time and more detailing later. So if you don't mind the detailing, then you can do it this way. And don't worry about the wall, it'll be hidden by stone. Alright, so continue this, and then you're going to add a few more colors, and I'm using like browns and reds and dark like burgundy kind of colors. And I went back over it a little bit with black to hide in some areas that I wanted to. So here's what it looks like up close and then far away. And you can kind of get like that red hint and who, all throughout this. So then you can just go back over it again with some brown and some black and some shading. And it gives you a really nice detail. You can see that black in there, and you can see the brown and the reds shining through. So, I mean, it really worked out great, and honestly, the video doesn't do it justice because it actually looks much better in person. So the next step for this will be the walls and the stonework with that. So leave a question, suggestion, or comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you get notified. Hopefully this tutorial helped you, and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day.